confirmation that Diana, Princess of Wales, has in fact been killed in that car accident.
The world weeps after the death of Princess Diana. On every continent today, mourners paying tribute.
On August 31st, 1997, the world was forever changed by the tragic loss of Princess Diana, the beloved people's princess. Her death in a Paris car crash left millions of fans in disbelief, forever altering the royal family, the media, and the public's perception of fame, privacy, and tragedy. For nearly 3 decades, the events surrounding her death have been shrouded in mystery and conspiracy theories, leaving people questioning what really happened that night. But recently, after 27 years of keeping it sealed, the unthinkable occurred. Princess Diana's tomb was opened. What was found inside shocked everyone. Her resting place, which had been guarded with a silence so profound, now holds secrets that no one could have imagined. The opening of her tomb didn't just unveil physical remains, but it also unearthed long-held questions about her death, the royal family's involvement, and the forces behind her untimely passing. The world is still trying to come to terms with the revelations. Let's dive into the stunning developments that have left even the most seasoned investigators stunned. The tragic death of Princess Diana. The wreckage of the Mercedes-Benz was horrific. Diana, the beloved Princess of Wales, lay motionless, her life slipping away in the darkness of the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Dodi Fayed, her companion, was also dead, and the driver, Henry Paul, was later found to have alcohol in his system. Yet the official narrative of a tragic car crash failed to quiet the whispers that spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of speculation. The paparazzi, relentlessly pursuing the royal couple, were blamed for causing the chaos that led to the crash. But was it simply an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Conspiracy theories began to flood the media, fueled by the public's suspicion of a royal cover-up. Was Diana really the victim of a tragic mishap, or was there a calculated plan to silence her? Some pointed to the relationship between Diana and Dodi as the reason behind the crash, while others speculated on deeper, more dangerous forces, perhaps even within the monarchy itself, pulling strings in the shadows. The official investigations, first by French authorities and later by British police, cleared the way for the truth to be uncovered. Henry Paul was deemed responsible, with the reckless speed, alcohol, and the press's pursuit cited as the cause. But the answers, unsatisfying as they were, didn't quell the public's thirst for more. Diana, a woman who had captured the hearts of millions, whose every move had been scrutinized by the world's media, was gone in an instant. And yet the unanswered questions persisted, shrouding her death in a haze of doubt. The funeral, an unprecedented spectacle, became the moment when grief reached its peak. People from all corners of the globe poured out their sorrow, joining together in a public display of mourning. Yet beneath that collective grief there was a palpable sense of unease. Why did a woman so beloved die so young? And why did it seem like there was more to the story than anyone was willing to admit? The theories didn't stop. Whispers of a royal family desperate to protect its own image, of a shadowy conspiracy that stretched far beyond the crash site, only deepened the mystery. As years passed, books, documentaries, and countless investigations revisited the events surrounding her death, yet none could definitively lay the ghost of suspicion to rest. The questions, unanswered, turned into a chilling reminder. Diana's death wasn't just a tragedy. It was an enigma, one that haunted the public for decades to come. The deeper you looked, the more the darkness seemed to pull you in. Something didn't add up, and perhaps it never would. The mysterious and sealed tomb. For nearly 3 decades, Diana's tomb remained a symbol of quiet reverence, its sealed doors a stark reminder of her tragic death and the royal secrecy that surrounded her life. Nestled in the idyllic surroundings of Althorp House, the tomb was a sanctuary, untouched and guarded fiercely by the Spencer family. Access was restricted, and any attempt to approach it too closely was met with resistance. The tomb stood as a final testament to the princess, a site protected from the insatiable public eye. But then in 2024, the unimaginable happened. The tomb was opened. The decision, a shocking and unexpected move, sent shockwaves through the public and media alike. Questions began to swirl like a storm. Why had it taken so long for the tomb to be disturbed? What was behind this mysterious decision after 27 years of steadfast secrecy? Those closest to Diana's family, tight-lipped and protective, had always insisted that the tomb be left untouched. Its isolation was a sacred promise, a vow to maintain her dignity and preserve the sanctity of her resting place. And yet suddenly, the door was cracked open. The world could hardly believe it. Panic ensued. The media, known for its insatiable thirst for drama, speculated wildly. Some argued that the tomb had been opened for an undisclosed reason, possibly linked to new information regarding her death. Others whispered of hidden secrets, of something buried within that had never been meant for the public to know. Were there answers to be found within the crypt, answers that could explain Diana's tragic end or her complicated life? What was Diana's family hiding? Were there documents, items, or truths that had remained buried with her, waiting to be unearthed? Conspiracy theories flourished. Theories of royal cover-ups, long-held family secrets, and covert dealings between the Spencer family and the establishment filled the airwaves. Some even wondered if Diana's tomb had been opened in preparation for a new chapter in her story, one that would either unveil shocking truths or completely rewrite the history of her life and death. Was the tomb really open to explore her remains, or was there a deeper, more sinister motive behind the decision? In a world obsessed with secrets and whispers, the tomb's sudden disturbance reignited a long-standing obsession with Diana. It was as though the vault that held her legacy had cracked open, leaving the world to question everything they thought they knew. Every step, every moment in that fateful event seemed calculated, part of a mystery that refused to be solved. And just as quickly as it was opened, the tomb was resealed, leaving only more questions in its wake. Why open the tomb? After 27 years, the mystery surrounding the opening of Diana's tomb after 27 years sparked a frenzy, with theories running wild about the true reason behind the decision. Some claimed it was a desperate attempt to unravel the labyrinth of conspiracy theories that had surrounded her death for decades. Could it have been a step towards uncovering the dark truth? Many had long speculated that Princess Diana was not simply a victim of a tragic accident, but the target of a calculated assassination orchestrated by powerful figures, possibly even within the royal family itself. After all, what better way to silence a woman who was a threat to the monarchy than through her untimely death? The tomb's sudden reopening was viewed by some as a way to finally examine whether there were clues, perhaps buried secrets within the grave, that could shed light on this explosive theory. Then, there was the growing suspicion surrounding the role of the paparazzi. They were relentless in their pursuit of Diana, and many believed that their actions in the moments leading up to the crash played a pivotal role in her death. But was there more to it? Had the paparazzi's interference been part of a larger scheme, one orchestrated by unseen forces, manipulating the circumstances of that fateful night? Perhaps there was evidence buried with Diana that would prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the extent to which the media and others had played a role in her demise. Her tomb had remained sealed for so long. Could there have been vital evidence hidden away, too sensitive to be exposed until now? Others speculated that the real reason behind the tomb's reopening was much more personal. The Spencer family, who had guarded Diana's resting place so closely for nearly 3 decades, may have been motivated by the overwhelming pressure of unanswered questions. The decades of silence were no longer sustainable as new generations of fans and followers demanded answers. Had there been anything in the tomb that could provide closure to the ongoing rumors and questions? Was there an object, a letter, or an artifact that could finally settle the debate about what really happened to the people's princess? Whatever the reason, the tomb's reopening ignited a storm of intrigue, leaving the world desperate for the answers that Diana's family had guarded for so long. The findings that shocked the world. The moment the tomb was opened, the world was thrust into a whirlwind of shock and disbelief. What had been hidden away for nearly 3 decades was now exposed, and the findings were far more unsettling than anyone could have imagined. The team that examined Diana's remains, composed of forensic experts, researchers, and archaeologists, had anticipated only the expected remnants of time and decay. But what they discovered was far more shocking, and perhaps far more dangerous than anyone realized. The first revelation was the stunning preservation of Diana's body. Forensic experts, accustomed to seeing the ravages of time on human remains, were stunned by the state in which she had been preserved. Most bodies decay over time, but Diana's remained almost perfectly intact, as if frozen in time. The embalming process was thorough, but what baffled experts was the fact that the natural conditions within the tomb had played a significant role in her preservation. It was as if her final resting place had somehow defied the usual laws of nature. But the real mystery began to unfold when the experts examined her body more closely. Unusual markings appeared on her skin, marks that had never been disclosed to the public. These strange, almost indeterminate lines seemed to tell a different story. Forensic experts were divided over their origins. Could they be a result of trauma from the crash? Or was it possible that they were signs of something darker, something that went beyond a simple accident? The marks were not just superficial, they seemed deliberate, as though someone had gone to great lengths to conceal their true nature. Theories began to swirl. Were these markings indicative of a deliberate attempt to alter the evidence of her death? Had they been placed there after the crash in an effort to cover something up? But the shock didn't end there. Alongside Diana's remains, an object was found. An object that didn't belong with her, something entirely unexpected. It wasn't a personal item like a piece of jewelry or a keepsake. No, this was something much more peculiar. Experts speculated that it was placed with intention, almost as if to send a message. The object was peculiar in its design, something out of place in a tomb meant for a royal figure. Was it an item of significant importance, potentially tied to the events leading up to her tragic death? Or was it a symbolic gesture from someone close to her, a final cryptic message left behind? The object's purpose was still unclear, but one thing was certain: it raised more questions than answers, adding an even darker layer to the already enigmatic circumstances of Princess Diana's death. The royal family's involvement and the cover-up. The whispers that had once echoed through the corridors of conspiracy theories now seemed to grow louder, especially after the shocking findings from Diana's tomb were revealed. Among the most persistent and chilling theories was the notion that the royal family might have been involved in her death. For years, it had been suggested that Diana's relationship with Prince Charles was far from the picture-perfect union portrayed to the public. Behind the facades, Diana had grown increasingly independent, outspoken, and critical of the monarchy, fueling speculation that her behavior had threatened the carefully curated image of the royal family. But could her tragic death have been the result of something more sinister? Some believed that the royal family may have orchestrated her passing to prevent a scandal that could shatter their reputation forever. As investigators combed through the newly reopened tomb, they began to draw unsettling connections between the findings and the cover-up theory. The marks on Diana's body were the first clue that left experts shaking their heads. Why had these markings been concealed for so long? Was it possible that they had been deliberately ignored or hidden in the original reports to ensure that the true cause of her injuries never came to light? Investigative journalists began digging deeper, suggesting that the royal family, or at least powerful figures within the establishment, might have been involved in orchestrating a cover-up that extended far beyond the night of the crash. The tomb itself, sealed for so many years, became a focal point of suspicion. What if it wasn't just a final resting place, but also a means to keep certain secrets locked away? Some argued that the tomb had been part of a carefully crafted plan to preserve a narrative, one that suggested Diana's death was simply the result of an unfortunate accident. But as the investigation into her remains continued, questions arose. Had the royal family, knowing the potential fallout of her independence and public criticisms, decided that Diana's death was a necessary evil? And if so, what lengths had they gone to in order to cover it up? The discovery of an odd object beside her only deepened the intrigue. Could it have been planted as part of an effort to alter the course of the investigation or obscure the truth? Or was it a message left behind, a clue to something far darker than anyone had ever imagined? As the pieces of the puzzle began to shift and fall into place, it seemed the story of Diana's death was far from the simple tragedy it had long been portrayed as. The royal family's involvement, if there was any, suddenly didn't seem so far-fetched. The role of the paparazzi. The paparazzi's role in Princess Diana's death has been a topic of intense scrutiny and outrage ever since that fateful night in 1997. As she and her partner Dodi Fayed sped through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, a group of photographers relentlessly pursued their car, capturing every moment, disregarding the safety of the princess and her driver. Their actions were reckless, putting their own pursuit of a story ahead of human life. Diana's brother, among others, later expressed deep anger, blaming the media for her death and accusing them of fueling the dangerous chase that ultimately led to the tragic crash. The reopening of Diana's tomb only reignited the fiery debate over the media's role. Investigators, journalists, and experts all wondered if the tomb might hold hidden clues about the connection between the paparazzi's actions and the circumstances of her death. Could there be evidence that pointed to the photographer's pursuit being a decisive factor in the crash? With new findings emerging from Diana's tomb, some wondered if there was more to the story, whether the press, in their relentless pursuit, had contributed in ways previously unseen. Had Diana's tomb been disturbed to uncover evidence that could implicate the press in a cover-up? Were there marks or injuries on her body that hadn't been disclosed before, potentially caused by the car's erratic driving or the photographer's aggressive tactics? Many believed that Diana's death wasn't just a tragic accident. It was a direct result of a media culture that valued sensationalism over human decency. The reopening of her tomb raised more questions. Was there evidence hidden in plain sight that pointed back to the paparazzi's reckless pursuit, forcing the world to confront their role in Diana's tragic demise? New questions, new answers. The opening of Princess Diana's tomb has answered some questions, but it has raised even more. What did the strange markings on her remains mean? Could the object found near her body hold the key to understanding what happened in the moments leading up to her death? And most importantly, how do these revelations affect our understanding of one of the most famous and tragic figures of the 20th century? In the coming months, further investigations will likely take place, with experts analyzing the findings in greater detail. The truth behind Princess Diana's death may not be as simple as the official report suggests. The tomb's reopening has opened a new chapter in the ongoing search for answers, and the world is watching closely to see where it leads. The opening of Princess Diana's tomb after 27 years has sent shockwaves across the globe, revealing startling new evidence that has reignited the mystery surrounding her tragic death. For decades, the secrets of that fateful night remained buried, but now, with fresh clues surfacing, it seems as though the truth may finally be within reach, or perhaps even more questions are about to emerge. The markings on her body, the strange object found by her remains, and the increasing speculation about royal involvement have only deepened the enigma. As we await more revelations, the question lingers. Will this new chapter provide the closure that so many have been desperately seeking, or will it spark an even greater wave of curiosity and doubt? One thing is certain: the world will not rest until every secret is uncovered. The search for the truth about Princess Diana's life and death will continue to captivate, challenge, and intrigue generations to come. If you're following this shocking development, keep digging for more updates. The story of Princess Diana is far from over, and we need your voice to keep pushing for the truth. Stay tuned, stay informed, and join the conversation. The answers may be closer than we think.